Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the final update on our Hope After Helene event. Thank you all for being willing to participate. We're looking forward to what God's going to do through this event this weekend. So really quickly, I'm going to go through a couple of updates and give you a few little details so that we can all be on the same page tomorrow and Saturday. So first and foremost, let's go over a little bit of the schedule for tomorrow. At 10 a.m., we're going to meet at Project Life, and we need all hands on deck for as many of you who can to come help us assemble the grocery bags that we'll be distributing the following day. So grocery bag assembly, 10 a.m. tomorrow at Project Life, and that would be wonderful to have your help. You'll notice where we are because you'll see the big Convoy of Hope truck, and we'll be working inside. So if the weather gets a little squirrely, tomorrow is the day for it to get a little squirrely because we will be inside working on this at 10 a.m. It should take us about 2 hours or so to get that finished. We'll also do some work around the site, just putting out boundaries and different things like that if the weather holds up nicely for us. Now on Saturday, we've got our school sites, Columbia Middle, Martinez Elementary, Glen Hills Middle, and Cross Creek High. Those are all opening at 8 a.m., but we're asking the volunteers to be there at 7:30. Now, most of you guys have already got your assignments. You already have let us know where you're going to be serving, and we appreciate that. And so you can just go and check in with your team leader. Each location has a team leader, so all you got to do is go park and be there for the drive-through, and you can actually be assigned what to do when you get there. It won't be that difficult. It's just handing out bags of groceries, and the way that works is each adult is eligible for a type A bag and a type B bag. There's 2 bags per adult. They're different bags, and so they can each have one of each per adult while supplies last. For those who are volunteering at the festival, that will be from 2 to 3 p.m. that we get volunteers to show up to make sure that the final preparations are done, and we open at 4 p.m. We close at 7. It's a 3-hour event. Now, what I'm going to tell you is that a lot of folks may try to come early, and so if that's the case, we are asking our volunteers to come early, make sure that they get settled in, and you can check in to be a volunteer at the festival. There's a pop-up tent with volunteer check-in, and you'll receive a lanyard identifying that you are indeed a Hope After Helene volunteer, and you will be assigned to a team if you haven't already. Everybody who has already chosen a team they wanted to be on in terms of what they wanted to serve in, you've already been assigned, and you can just make sure that you're there and follow your team leader. Each department has team leads. They will walk you through what you need. Most of this is simple operation stuff, mostly just being willing to follow direction. So if you are listening to this and you say, you know what, I've not signed up to be a part of the Saturday festival, that's okay. You don't really have to sweat it too bad. Just come check in for volunteer check-in, and then we will assign you the day of, if needed, to a team, because there's plenty to do. I can guarantee that. If you think about it, we're giving away 5,000 grocery bags on Saturday. We're also going to be giving away 648 pairs of children's shoes, and that one is a little tricky because you have to measure everybody's shoe size and then make sure you get the right things to the right people. So it's going to be many hands making light work. So anybody who's available, we would really appreciate the help. We will assign you to a team. In terms of what you need to know about Saturday when it comes to weather, I don't know if I've ever paid more attention to the weather app than I have this past week, trying to make sure what I would know about the upcoming day's weather. So right now there is a chance of rain, and so if it is just rain, then we will continue on for the full event. If there is a thunderstorm of any nature, if it's thundering and lightning, we will suspend the event, no matter what part of the event it's at. So if it's in the middle of the drive-through distribution, if it starts lightning and thundering, we will shut down, and we will distribute those goods through our partners at a later time. The resources will still get out into the community, but our safety is the priority. We don't want anybody getting hurt, including our guests. And so that will be the case for the weekend. Just use common sense that if it is safe, we'll continue. If it is unsafe, we will not continue. In terms of what we're looking for from our volunteers, we have several departments. The children's shoes I already mentioned, the grocery team, they could use more hands because it's going to be a lot of effort there to make sure that the guests are served efficiently. We could also use more help with our parking team and our welcome team, because we want to make sure that people know where to go, that they know like what is available. And so we want to make sure that people understand that. So there are site maps that have been created for the event that we'll make sure that we put on screen for you. You can kind of get a general feel of how everything's going to lay out and how parking is going to work. So everyone knows there's one entrance to the festival and one exit, and that is by design so that you enter off of Gordon Highway and you exit at a traffic light. There's an access road that goes behind the shopping center, and so you will see that on the site map. And we want all of our volunteers and all of our guests to follow the same traffic pattern. We don't want anybody trying to do any kind of U-turns on Gordon Highway. There really shouldn't be any need for that. Just please drive carefully, and when you make your way into the parking lot, you'll be directed on where to go, and make sure that you're not just stopping at the entrance. Drive all the way into the parking lot so that the person behind you can get in as well, and that would be a great help for everybody, both volunteers and guests. So in addition to all the fun that we're going to have with our family zone, our food, the groceries, children's shoes, etc., we're also going to have an area for community services where long-term care can be provided to those in need. Obviously, all the things that we mentioned before are short-term, like immediate. You can get a bag of groceries and some shoes the day of, but some folks still need some long-term care. And so we have several nonprofits and folks who are willing to come alongside different families. They're going to be there set up to offer information about long-term recovery, and so that's an important part of this event as well. And so and if you're a volunteer and you need long-term recovery options, feel free to talk with them and take their information. You should do that as well. All of us are in some form or fashion, we're in recovery, and so we acknowledge that and we continue to press forward. All right, so just to wrap things up, again, tomorrow at 10 a.m. for grocery assembly at Project Life. All hands on deck. If you are available to come help us there, we would appreciate that. And then, of course, for the festival sites, for the school sites, those are pretty well handled. We're excited about that. That's going to go smoothly at all 4 sites. And then, of course, our festival. If you have time to help us out in the afternoon, we would love to have you there. And you can sign in at the volunteer check-in between 2 and 3, and we would appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you and what God will do through Hope After Helene. See you soon.